Hi everyone, it's Marissa from the Duxbury Free Library here with part 2 of how to compost for the absolute beginner. Like I said, I like this to be as simple as possible. So I am going to show you how to do an indoor and outdoor bin system, which I find is the simplest way to compost. So we're gonna just get started. For inside, you will need an indoor compost bin. This is one that is actually designed for compost. It has a little lid. It comes with a little filter. And then it has this inside bucket. So the reason why we have an indoor bin is so we don't have to go out to the compost bin every time you chop a vegetable or you discover some sad lettuce or an orange that you're gonna eat and toss the peel in the compost, or you made a pot of coffee. It's just for all of the indoor things that you collect inside, and then you can take it all out at once. So when I first started composting, I bought a plastic paint bucket that you would use if you were like pouring out some paint to paint another area that had a lid. That's it. You don't need a bin that looks like this. You just need a container with a lid. We chose to do this. It holds a fair bit, and it has that nice inner bucket that you can take out, dump out, rinse out, pour the water in the outside compost, bring it back inside. But really, any container with a lid will do. And depending on how much produce and indoor compost you accumulate, you may need something a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. So you can get a container at your local hardware store, or the vast internet awaits you if you want a bin that's specifically designed for indoor compost. But like I said, make it easy on yourself. You don't have to. This is just the way we chose to do it this time. So I'm going to put this down. And I want to talk about your outdoor bin. So what I like to do for my outdoor compost bin is a dark colored trash can. This one is 20 gallons with a lid and a bungee cord. I like using a bungee cord to go from handle to handle, just in case there's a critter that thinks they're gonna get a snack out of this. And I also like the dark color because it helps retain the heat, and heat is vital to the microbial activity that's going to make your compost decompose. And I also like a circular bin, so like there are square trash barrels, but I don't want anything to get stuck in the corners. So this is like, this trash barrel and this bungee cord together cost me 20 bucks. I don't know about the cost of the indoor compost bin, but like I said, you could use any container with a lid. So low stakes, not a lot of investment. If you hate it, you have a trash barrel. Now we are going to drill holes in our trash barrel, which we're going to do in a little bit, but I started composting this way back 1,000 years ago, and it worked really well. And then once this is full, I would put it like on the corner of the yard and start a second one to let the first one decompose. So it is a bit of a waiting game. You're not going to have finished compost within a week, but you will, and it will be glorious. So I'm going to drill some holes in this for, almost lost the lid. I'm going to drill some holes in this for aeration and drainage. I'm going to drill some holes in the bottom and along the sides, but first I'm going to get out of my sweater so I don't get little trash can plastic bits all over me. And so you don't have to hear the drill, I'm going to do that and then I'll come back to you. Okay friends, I have finished drilling my holes in my compost bin. I just used this as just a cordless drill. And I made the holes slightly bigger, I think, than they need to be, but there will be plenty of aeration and drainage, so I didn't make as many holes as I normally would have. So I'm just gonna put my drill down. I'm gonna tilt my trash barrel so you can see I made about 5 in the bottom, and then if I like alternating 3 and 1, you can maybe see it better on if I bring it closer on the outside. Now, I'm not gonna put any holes in the lid because I want that lid to keep any potential larger critters out. Compost, if it's properly balanced, doesn't tend to attract a lot of nocturnal visitors who are looking for a snack, but I just want to err on the side of caution. And also it'll help keep the heat inside, because when your compost heats up, that's what is doing the decomposing, and you want it to be not hot to the point that it's killing the microbes, but warm, pretty warm. So I'm happy with my barrel here. It took me about a total 5 minutes to drill these holes, and I am going to put it where I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to take you with me. Before I do that, I like to put my compost barrel on cinder blocks off of the ground, just because of, and you'll see where I'm accessing it from the inside of my house. It'll be a little bit higher up and easier to put the compost in it. But most people actually just leave it on the ground. So I got these 2 cinder blocks that you'll see from a neighbor, so they didn't cost me anything. But if you put your compost on the ground, it's great, and you'll have actual, microbes and friends from the earth come into your compost. But my way works as well, because I will occasionally put a spade or 2 of dirt in it. So it's just a different way of doing the same thing. So we're gonna go put it in its spot, and then we're gonna start the compost. So come along with me. Hi friends, it's Marissa. Again, I am here outside where my compost bin is going to go, and I realize that the way this camera is tilted, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to try and film with one hand off of the tripod and show you what I'm doing with the other. So give me a second. I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll give it a shot. Okay, this is much better. So this is my side yard, and this is the door that leads into my house. So this is the perfect spot, I think, to site the compost. So just come from the inside and go down the stairs, or you can even stand on one stair and put the compost in without having to come all the way down the stairs, hence why it's on cinder blocks. There's my bungee cord. So there's a lot of good dead leaves around here. I don't have to go far to get browns. And there's a hose, although it's not hooked up right now, so I can easily water my compost. So this is going to be specific to your situation. You want ease of access from the indoors. Having a nearby hose is great, but you can always get some water from inside. I think mainly ease of access is most important. So you're more inclined to do something that's easy. So right now, there is nothing in our bin, but I am going to start with some dirt. Okay, so I used my garden spade, and I just dug up some dirt from that hole right there. And you can see the soil where I am, it's kind of sandy. I live on the Cape. And you can also see I mixed in some of that compost that my coworker Laura had given me, so you can sort of see down towards the bottom of the frame the difference in color from the compost, especially right there. The dark is Laura's compost, and the light brown is my soil from my yard. So you don't need compost to start compost, nor do you need what's called compost activator, which is something you can purchase. You can definitely use compost activator, or if you know somebody who already composts, get a little of their compost, but it's not necessary. It's not like an absolute important part. You just need soil that's not potting soil, because potting soil has been kind of sterilized, and so it won't have the microbes from the soil that's in your yard. Also try and avoid any rocks or pebbles or big sticks, because rocks won't break down, and big sticks will take a while if they break down at all. You can always cut things into smaller pieces, but rocks, probably not a good idea. So now I'm going to add a layer of browns. So browns, as we remember, are carbon materials that are high in carbon. So I just have a lot of leaves around me here, so I'm going to do that. So as you can see, I've put in a layer of leaves, dry leaves, which are what we call browns, and I have broken them up. I ripped them up into pieces. You want to do this so they break down quicker. And now I'm going to put in the contents of my kitchen compost. All right, so here it goes. There we go. So I'm just going to move it around with my spade. In and out. Now this is paper towel that has not been used with any cleaning solution or material, so it can go in the compost. So if you just use a wet paper towel to wipe down a counter, that can be used, but no like cleaners or anything like that. And that's all that wet is something you don't have to bring out to your trash. So that counts as more browns. The paper does. Everything else counts as greens, which are materials that are high in nitrogen. So now what I'm going to do is pour some water on this. So I just have a bottle of water. Normally I would use the hose, but the hose isn't hooked up right now. And I'm just going to make it slightly moist. You don't want your compost to be really wet, nor do you want it to be too dry. So about probably about the moisture level of a sponge or washcloth that has been wrung out. And now I'm going to put the lid on it. Boom. And that is my first composting in this new compost bin. I'm going to put the bungee cord on it after I step away from it, but it's really that easy. I hope that seems easy to you, because I think it's pretty easy and self-explanatory once you get the idea of layering things. All right, everybody, I'm here with my friend, the compost bin. I hope this was informative to show you it can be really simple to make a compost bin from a trash barrel. And this is going to stay out here on its cinder blocks, and I will continue to add layers of brown, so leaves or shredded paper, and greens, my kitchen scraps, to this. And we're going to come back in a little while, in a couple days or so, and see how it's going and talk about how composting can benefit your soil and the planet in general, and why this might be a good idea for you if you're interested. So, trash barrel, drill, bungee cord, that's your outside bin. Cinder blocks are optional. And then inside, plastic cover with a lid. Does not have to be a dedicated compost container for kitchen compost. You can just get any lidded container that will fit your space and fit your needs. So like if you don't eat a lot of vegetables, you may need a smaller bin. Also a reminder that you can put kitchen paper, like moist paper towels that don't have cleaner on them, in your compost. Tea bags also awesome. Coffee grounds awesome for compost. So we're gonna layer this a couple more times, and I'll probably take a photo each time I do it and put that in the second video. The third video. And just stir it around once in a while. It's cold today, so we're not getting a lot of warmth from the sun, but as the days get warmer, this will also get warmer and start to decompose better. You can compost during the winter, but you won't get a lot of decomposition. What I would do in the past when I composted in the winter is just put in slightly warm water, because I don't want to kill any bacteria with hot boiling water, but any bacteria or microbes that are in there doing their job, I would want to encourage a little bit with some warmth. But we are no longer in winter. The days are just going to get warmer from here. So that was part 2 of how to compost for the absolute beginner. Hope you enjoyed. Additional resources and links on composting are in the description for you to check out, and we will see you next time.